week of new indie games, where it just so happens that there are a whole bunch of tactics and strategy titles, both old and new, with some new interesting roguelites, crafting and action titles in the mix as well in this edition of Indie Gaming this week. Let's begin with the 1.0 release of Source of Madness, a roguelite platformer that is set in a Lovecraftian cosmic horror world where you go on a nightmarish journey to find and eliminate said source of madness.
Join the cult of knowledge.
The ghastly monsters that you will encounter are excellently designed, with all sorts of teeth and fleshy bits that are very much like a Souls-like title.
Demands sacrifice.
There's an inventory and equipment system like an action RPG, as well as an extensive meta progression system, so check this out if you have not.
Find the source of madness. Stop what is to come.
I'm a little bit torn on showcasing Lost Nova, since on the surface, this looks like one of the cutest and most cuddly adventure crafting titles out there, but there's a little bit of baggage that I have to talk about, but first things first. It has you playing as an explorer, crash landing on a planet, having to gather resources and craft your way out of this sticky situation, helping other characters that you encounter along the way. In many ways, it does remind me of Crashlands, which I adore, only without combat, making this one of interest. My point of contention with this is that it is being published by Hopfrog, also the developer of Forager, which is a good game, but there's controversy about how he treated his team and basically threw them under the bus, which is not behavior that I condone, so do look into this if you're curious. I love my real-time strategy titles since I am a 90s kid, but unfortunately, this genre has been in decline, with mainly indie developers holding the line, which is why I wanted to give Retro Commander a special mention. It has a classic military theme similar to Red Alert and has a decent look, so here's wishing them all the best for the early access launch. Tactics titles will be coming fast and furious, beginning with Cantata, a very unique looking strategy and tactical title where you play as the commanding officer of a faction, exploring and expanding across a mysterious planet. This has base building elements as well as turn-based tactical combat and exploration, where it does seem very interesting in having to figure out how all the pieces fit together. The early access release will contain Act 1 with the first 3 chapters as well as the map editor, so if you love strategy titles, this is one to get.
The Black King had been quite object.
I just covered Shotgun King the Final Checkmate last week for the Going Rogue Festival, so enjoy a little bit more of the voiceover in this trailer.
Before leaving, a Black Bishop gave him a warning, told him his wrath would be his undoing. But the king knew his undoing had already begun. Indeed, all he had left was his royal shotgun. But the Shotgun King's reign is still holly, and in his dark folly, no need to cry, bits of white pieces will fly.
Delicious.
Let's kick off bigger games with Brigandine: The Legend of Runecia. The PC release of this strategy title that was released on Switch and PS4 in 2020 being of interest since it is the direct sequel to a game from 1998, with the grand strategy elements in this looking fantastic. I did mention Euden Chronicle Rising when previewing Games of the Month, but didn't quite know where to put it since it was kickstarted, but was farmed out to Natsume Atari, which is a huge company, so I've decided to put it in here. It is a 2D action platformer RPG that is the companion prologue to the Suikoden-like Euden Chronicles 100 Heroes, giving you just a taste of the world and characters.
Of course, more than one universe. That precious little puppet is Lord Zeta, an overlord with the most powerful mana in the universe. He had problems with my prophecy already.
My netherworld's gonna be destroyed! Aha! I'll bind my soul to the damn book! Confine!
We have two ports of interest as well, coming to us from Nippon Ichi Software or NIS, the first of which is Maikai Kingdom Reclaimed and Rebound. Get this, PS2 and PSP title from 2005, somehow being put on Steam and Switch, being a spin-off of the Disgaea series and is worth a play.
Can't you just calm down? Lord Zed is in trouble and we need to help him, okay?
Take this! I'm ready. Father, I have come here from the future.
The second NIS port of the week is ZHP Unlosing Ranger vs Dark Death Evil Man, a roguelike mystery dungeon title with a fantastic name, releasing on the PSP only in 2010, getting a new lease of life with PC and Switch versions. Smaller games begin with Alan 13 Reformation, an isometric puzzle game that makes you think like a programmer and moving your bot around the level, looking oh so cute. Before the last hour is another roguelite title that I covered last week, looking like a slick roguelite RPG with fantastic art and animations, making this early access release of interest. If you love fishing in games like me, I'm sure that Fantasy Fishing Town will be of interest, one that abstracts away most of the life sim elements and is solely focused on fishing, looking wonderful as well. Finally, Symbiotic is, surprise surprise, yet another roguelite that I covered during the Steam Going Rogue festival last week, where this FPS title looks pretty neat. Let's kick off the top 5 with We Were Here Forever, a first-person co-op puzzle title that is the 4th entry in a series of excellent co-op games that have gone a little bit under the radar in my opinion, where from the quality of this trailer in the visuals, voiceover and pedigree makes me have full confidence that this will be good.
Have you not read what has been foretold? Men and women bold have found a way out of this cold. Surrounded by the icy deep, he would have us trapped forever. But outside this keep lies freedom. If we're clever.
I'm a sucker for Zelda-style action-adventure titles, especially one as cute as this, so of course, Hatchwell is a title of interest this week. Most interestingly, it comes to us from a solo Filipino developer, so Southeast Asia represent, although it isn't exactly Filipino themed in nature. It does look to be very inspired by Zelda, with the Master Sword and Octo Rock equivalents, but I do like that the developer has added a corgi companion that can fight as well. It just looks so adorable and very classically designed, so if you love Zelda games, be sure to pick this up.
I have met him doing my camp patrol near the North Road Gate. He just came at us like a raging bull. First he knocked my friend with a shield. I managed to draw my sword, but...
Little man with funny hair, I angry. Little man too fast. Quick shiny stick in it.
Another title that I didn't quite know where to place is Achilles Legends Untold, since it is technically an independent game that is self-published, but does come to us from quite a large Polish developer. It does look like a Diablo-style action RPG, but is more of an isometric Souls-like title, where you play as the hero of legend, battling his way through the world, but do note that it will be an early access release as well.
This is how we fought, and this is how we died. Only the dead can share the untold legends of Achilles. Inquisitors come to the Vale to seek purpose in their punishment.
One of the most hyped titles of the month is Salt and Sacrifice, a 2D Souls-like RPG that is the sequel to fan-favorite Salt and Sanctuary, releasing 8 years after the original, which of course means there's plenty to get excited about.
The Inquisition with righteous steel.
On top of the updated visuals, there looks to be more range in character classes, where most interestingly, the developers have opted to use multiplayer as a key selling point.
Join the Dawnlight Order. Help your fellow Marked Inquisitors.
Whichever paths you choose, to whichever factions you swear fealty.
What is more interesting to me, however, is that the bosses, named mages in this world, are not confined to one location but do roam the world and can even actively hunt you down, leading to dynamic and intense boss fights, where as a result, I'm very curious about the structure of the game. It was a very tough decision in choosing between Salt and Sacrifice and Songs of Conquest for the number 1 spot, but of course I had to go with my roots with this turn-based strategy title. As some of you may know, I love the Heroes of Might and Magic series, especially 3, where there hasn't been anything in that vein until quite recently, with this game being the most faithful spiritual successor in my opinion. You play as a hero raising an army, exploring and fighting enemies to get resources to upgrade your base to produce more powerful units. If the variety in factions and units is there, it may just be able to capture some of that same magic, so I have my fingers crossed that it does, taking the number 1 spot. For more pixel art titles, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.